Good evening and welcome. I am Nikki Birkett. I run Nikki Birkett Dog Training Plus. I am a positive reinforcement trainer. I specialise in reactive dogs and in puppies. Hi there. I think it's only just started again. So I am Nikki Birkett. I own Nikki Birkett Dog Training Plus, specialising in reactive dogs and also in puppies. I am a IMDT member. I am a recommended trainer and an authorised trainer in Reactive Dogs UK. Some of you may be in RDUK, in which case welcome. I am here tonight to talk to you about reactive dog training online on a virtual basis. I myself have two reactive dogs, or had two reactive dogs. I have Coco, who is 6, and she was reactive to pretty much any triggers you can think of, people, dogs, anything that moved. So I do get and can completely empathise and sympathise with how it feels to live with a reactive dog, to have people only see the side of them that is what they show in public and not what we see at home. I also have Ziggy, who I rehomed from somebody who was in Reactive Dogs UK. That is not something that normally happens, but the stars aligned, which meant that Ziggy ended up coming to live with us and has been a perfect fit in our house. He can be reactive to some people, but again, he is doing absolutely fantastically. Coco was from the RSPCA. And yeah, they are both with me now, currently fast asleep. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that background so that you know I understand what you're feeling, what it's like, how lonely it can be. And certainly that was how RDUK was set up by Nick. She set it up so that there was that support available for people, because unless you're in that situation, you genuinely don't know how it feels, how judged you feel, how lonely, how you're almost grieving for the life with a dog that you thought you might get. So it's super important that we have all of this support out here. And the group support in RDUK is absolutely invaluable to people. I started out in there as an owner myself. So, onto the subject about training online. Like most trainers, I was training in the traditional sense before this time last year. And I would meet people with their dogs and we would work on training in a outdoor environment, you know, with the stooge dog, have an initial consultation and go through as much as we could that way and work individually with that dog. That obviously came to a grinding halt as soon as COVID started to affect the country. And genuinely, I became worried about what was going to happen with these dogs. And obviously we offered to take sessions online, and understandably so. We all kind of went, well, I'm not sure how that's going to work. How are we going to make that work? So I've just got a few questions coming in, so I'll be checking on them on and off as well. So how was it going to work? We needed to think outside the box. We need to move away from only thinking that we can only have help if someone is there with us to help us. So I developed a program, and it's on its third intake of how we can help our reactive dogs. So I had a question from Kate. Kate, are you here? Kate Mays? Hopefully. If not, you can watch the recording. About her, that she would have liked to train her to go on a couple of walks with her, to observe her body language and her dogs, to see what, if anything, she was missing, and also to help make sure that she's doing enough to make progress but not overload her, and how that's not possible with virtual training. It is completely possible. So when you think about when we're working with reactive dogs, when your trainer works with you and your reactive dog, they do not necessarily see the dog that you see, because purely by their presence in the scenario, your dog's behaviour changes. Whether that's that they become tense because there's a new person here, or they know the trainer and the trainer has, is basically sausage lady. I've been known as that, as treat lady. I am the treat lady. So that then boosts up your dog's excitement levels, adrenaline levels, which, just like stress, is a chemical reaction in the brain. So what we are seeing in your dog isn't necessarily the dog that you are dealing with all the time. So in some respects there is a kind of a false representation. So yes, video is really good, but I appreciate that not everybody can take video while they're out walking, especially on your own. Body cams are great. However, what I think is more important is raising your self-awareness, because we are not going to be there all the time to direct you. So this is where virtual training comes in. The program that I've developed, we go through everything from what happens to your dog's brain, physiology, ethology, various techniques. So obviously we look at care and counter conditioning, massively important, and that's the one that's going to change your dog's emotional state. That is the one that you can be doing all the time. You can set it up and do that, and as long as you get the fact that timing of trigger appears, bar opens, trigger goes, bar closes, so that you're not doing distraction, you are doing counter conditioning, that is all you need to know. It is fantastic. But we also look at management techniques, emergency procedures for out on walks, because let's face it, the majority of reactive dog owners, of us, just want to be able to enjoy a walk. That's all we want. We just want to be able to enjoy a walk. And we look at strategies on that. We look at pattern games. We just look at everything. And the awareness that develops between owner and dog, in my experience so far, has come about far, far quicker with virtual training than it has doing it in person. And because that awareness is there, progress has been astounding. So if you think when you're with your dog in a training session with your trainer, how much, and I'm going to think back to, when I used to take my guys to Hoopers, agility, everything like that, how much can you say percentage wise are you actually 100% concentrating on what your trainer is saying to you? Because for me it definitely wasn't 100%. I'd like to pretend it was, but it wasn't. So how Doing it virtually, you can absorb everything. And the thing is as well is that we record it and you get a copy and you can watch it back and think, oh my god, what did she say about that? I really can't remember. And you can watch it back and see and go, right, yeah, that was it. Because with the best will in the world, we don't take everything in. We really don't. So we have to, we look at it a bit like that. So in answer for Kate, yes, we need the video. The video is massively helpful, not just so that we can see what's going on. It's so that you can see what we see as well. And in person, and I am not saying that virtual training is a complete substitute for in person, but in person, we can only point these things out to you after they've happened, and you can't see exactly what we saw. Whereas when we can do it by video, and it doesn't have to be video of your dog reacting, that is not what we want to see. That is completely the opposite of what we're wanting to achieve. But even just little interactions with training videos with your dog in the garden or in the park, we can see these things that will be looking at timing and progress and body language, because it shows up in other areas as well. So we can pick up on it. It's what we're trained to do. But not only that, but we can show it on the video and say, that there, that is actually the first sign, the first bit of communication your dog is giving you. Whereas in person, all we can say was, oh yeah, your dog did this, we'll see if it does it again so you can see it again. If you can see it on the video, you know exactly what you're looking for, and therefore you were also far more able to read your dog and prevent situations happening. So I've had a couple of questions put in before about dog fights and breaking up dog fights. To be honest, there is no one answer about that, and various people have various points of view. Our main aim is to keep our dogs and other dogs safe. Yes, that is not always possible, and it is slightly off topic for today, but I will touch on it where I can. Let me see if we've got any comments coming in. I don't think I can see any. So yeah, Kate, if you are there and you want to pop a comment on about it, that would be great. It's not showing it. Oh, here I've got them. I can see them on my phone, but not on my computer. So yeah, I can see that. Sausage. Yeah, somebody else is being a sausage lady. So Shirley. Oh, I'm glad that was helpful, Kate. Thank you. Need to know how to change your emotional state from mistrusting your girl around other dogs because you know it affects her badly. So this is something that I do touch on a lot in the program that I run, because our state, our emotional state, our mental state, our way of being has a huge effect on our dogs. Massive effect. So what we want to be looking at is, and this is again all about our self-awareness and our calmness. I myself have and do suffer anxiety, so I know how it can affect, and saying our calmness is way easier than it actually is, and having a reactive dog can massively trigger your anxiety. And again, this is another advantage of virtual training. When I meet a new person, I get nervous. When you meet a new trainer, you're going to get nervous. There are going to be thoughts going through your head like, what are they going to think of me? What if they don't like what I'm doing with my dog? What if my dog does this? And we can eliminate all of that. And we can look at, in a safe way, talking you through the mechanics and techniques of training that you need. putting them in place, giving feedback in a really comfortable way that you can see, and that way your trust in your dog builds because your dog's trust in you builds. Everything with reactive dogs is all about relationship, and we've got the hierarchy of needs of a dog, and you know, once we've got all them, that's when training really starts, but you have to have them stacked up first. I've just seen that somebody's asked a question of what care is. I do apologise. So it's counter conditioning for reactive dogs. You can just pop in care for reactive dogs in Google, it will bring it up, or somebody could put the link in a comment for you. Jan, you can video yourself with Leia, or do what I do and pop a tripod up, or even just use elastic bands to fasten your phone to a Coke bottle and video it that way. It doesn't need to be anything technologically wonderful. So yeah, don't worry about that. I do a mixture of all of my interactions with my clients initially are all on a live basis, just like this, except I'd be able to see you and talk to you as well. And then we also have a mini support group where we can post videos throughout the week. So the way it's structured is you have one group session a week where there's 3 or 4 of you in that session on Zoom. And then you also have a one-to-one with me that week as well. And we work through it that way. We have videos. I get you to do tasks in between. Most of them are just aimed at your dog. Your dog just thinks it's having fun. It's like, oh, mum stroke dad, it's just got so fun. It's brilliant. I'll do everything they want me to. So yeah, it is a big issue with anxiety. Just bounce back. I'm really good at going off a tangent, so just yell at me if I do. And I do think anxiety in people cannot be discounted when we're working with reactive dogs. So a lot of what we focus on is technique driven, is emergency procedures, is, you know, teaching her this way. And I know that, you know, a lot of groups, RDUK, are building resources for things like that. So you can head over to the members area and the website on there and have a look at that. Likewise, you know, whichever trainer you choose, they will probably have a similar support system in place. But it is about looking after you as well. And it's important to get somebody that can do that with you. We need to be very conscious, and I think it is a very useful exercise to be looking at your breathing, how you're breathing, how you're reacting when your dog sees a trigger. Are you giving them any preemptions that there's something to worry about? Nearly all of us will at some point tighten the lead without realising it. And that is a preemption to the dog that, oh, why has she done that? That's not normally how it goes. So I would always encourage awareness of what we're doing, how we're doing it, how it's relating to the dog, and them slightest little things really get your dog paying attention to you. Are you wanting to speak up as well, sweetheart? Coco's joining in and saying, yes, that is absolutely true. So thank you, Debbie, for popping that in the chat. That's absolutely fantastic. Yes, KRDUK is amazing. And if you do want a trainer, ask them to have a look at one. Or if you're wanting to work on a remote basis, they can offer remote trainers as well. Absolutely, because they vet every trainer that they recommend. They are stringently vetted to ensure the ethos, ethics and experience is there. So dogs into dog fighting, again, that's not always within topic of a reactive dog, so there can be an awful lot going on in the house and in the dynamics, which does make it very hard to advise on in this. However, management, absolutely management, and I'm just reading all of these just to make sure I don't miss something. Management is key. So whether we're looking at in-house dogs not necessarily getting on, or we're looking at reactivity on walks, or whatever the issue, management is key. You cannot change the way a dog behaves whilst you are still letting it practice that behaviour. It's just not something we can do. I know Lauren mentioned about her dog being very completely, totally aroused by anything immediately, so it tips them over. I will go back to there. Shirley, yes, stiffening up in your neck, so hard. So it's just about breathing. Take a deep breath, have a look around you. Where can you get distance? Put distance between you and what's coming, and learn your emergency techniques. Learn you this way. See how your dog's reacting. Your dog could still be quite relaxed. So have a look at that. Alex is here. Hi Alex. Good to see you. So yeah, about the over arousal with toys and things like that. So what you want to be doing is starting on a really, really low basis. So literally, and I had this with Coco because she will stalk. She's part collie and she will just stalk. So we've been working very hard this year. This year we've been working really, really hard, and what we've done is used a flirt type toy, so something fluffy attached to something long. So this is Ziggy. Alex will recognise this. This is his little thing of choice, and it's working on them being just go, because if she sees that she will go mental, and it's just working on that. Okay, produce it, she stays calm, looks at me, put it away, click treat. That is all I'm looking for, is just the sight of it, and then it away, and the reward for not immediately going at it, and it's building it up from there. So it is a lot of work, but when you get to the point where you can get that toy out and wave it around and dangle it on the floor, and your dog's just sat there looking at you going, I know I'm not going to go for it until you tell me I can. It's really fun. Come on, I love this. It's so worth it. And it's the same with working with our reactive dogs as a whole. One thing that I'd also like to say to anyone who's in the similar position to Shirley is looking at ways to eliminate things you need to worry about. And this is where a little bit of stigma comes in, and this is about muzzles. There is a stigma about muzzles, and I don't like it. I think muzzles are brilliant because they take away that worry from us. That if something happened that's outside of our control, what can we do about it? Well, first of all, we can remove the bite risk by muzzle training the dog, and that's it. You know, we then know that we don't have to worry about that happening. So if we see somebody's dog running up to us, we can put our dog behind us. I train a middle, so I can put my dog in middle. I even got both of them in middle at once. One's tall, one's little, so they're slotted nicely. And yeah, it is about removing those outcomes that we worry about, because as humans we go, oh, do you know what, this could happen, X could happen, and it's all not good. Coco, darling, just shush. And it's not nice. And we come up with scenarios that, in all honesty, are probably not going to happen. But if they are, anxiety, it doesn't necessarily follow common sense. And our dogs feel anxiety, we feel anxiety. The difference is we can rationalise it. So if we can remove it through muzzle training and go, do you know what, at least I know my dog's chances of biting another dog and getting into trouble for it are reduced, great. That's one thing that we can take off the front of our mind and instead focus on things that we need to get to work on. So training this ways, training all sorts, walking pattern games, looking at some free work, everything like that. And in the programs that I run, we look at everything, including free work. We look at bat, lat, everything. So you are essentially, your toolbox is prepared, because it doesn't matter how often someone is stood by you in person saying, okay, just do this, just do this, just do this, or here, you want to do this. Unless you fully understand it, are you going to have the confidence to go away and do it by yourself every day? Because it's you that's dealing, handling, loving your dog every minute of the day, and we just get to see you possibly once a week. So it is vitally important you understand everything, and that way you know how to implement it. So yes, the running belt that Shirley's referring to, they are great because you can take the tension out of the lead and your dog can't go anywhere. So absolutely brilliant. Muzzles for a staffy. Now I love the I actually use lurcher muzzles for my dogs, but I do have a friend who's been using truffle muzzles, which I think you can get to fit specifically your dog. I cannot personally vouch for it though, but I am quite sure that if you ask in RDUK, they will be able to. You'll get a million suggestions as to the best fitting ones in there. But yeah, have a look round. Again, I always look at the weight of it as well. So every time I've used a basketball, I've used the beigey brown one rather than the black one, purely because my dogs found it more comfortable. But every dog is different. But yes, have a look and ask. And also, there's a Muzzle Up Project group. Ask in there. They will all point you into the right direction. But it's great that you've muzzle trained her. Lauren's added a bit more information. Oh bless her. Yeah, that's a situation where I think you can do what you can, can't you? With a dog that you work with. But yeah, definitely work on some, I don't like the word control at all, but just do a bit of work on, getting in some really reliable behaviours. So sit, leave it, all things like that, your weights, so that they're totally and utterly ingrained on your dog. They're almost automatic. And once they're automatic, you can start using them in your training as well, just to give that breathing space before the dog goes, whoa. You can just go, wait, leave it, or sit, or just saying their name even can interrupt that bit, and then reward them for it. They've done what we wanted them to do, and it is absolutely about rewarding our dogs in general, not just reactive dogs, but all dogs. And I do puppy classes online as well, and it is definitely, puppy classes online are working brilliantly because the pups are more focused. The first couple of weeks in-person puppy classes is, dogs just going, oh my god, what's going on here? I'm in a room full of dogs, it's amazing. do them online, they pick up it all so much quicker, and the owners can go away during the week and practice it in real life. Take their training, do it in the park, do it wherever, do it just in their garden, front garden, where there might be people walking past at a distance. But it is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, do not discount it, because I have genuinely loved training online. And to be perfectly honest, once we get back to normal, if we ever do, a lot of my programs are going to stay online because of the success of the people. So I've had quite a lot of feedback lately, and I just thought I'd share it with you, because I imagine that a lot of, you can sit there and you might go, do you know what, it's all well and good Nikki saying this, but really, how do we know? So I asked some of my recent graduates to provide something in their own words, and I said, it doesn't have to be good, just feedback would be amazing. And I've popped some of the comments on my website. So we've had one, and their comments were that they've got a greater depth of understanding of what happens to their dog internally on a walk, which then gives them confidence to manage their needs. They've liked doing it virtually because it focuses on them rather than the dog, which means their dog hasn't had to be stressed out by going to a new place, by meeting a new person, feeling like, that they're performing as well. So their words are, we've been able to focus on learning the technique, which they can then practice in their own comfortable environments. It's brilliant. And then obviously they've got me on hand all the time. And then, so that was a dog who suffers quite a lot of anxiety. There's one from a frustrated greeter, because it works for them too. And Hugo, the beagle, he started to show these behaviours at the beginning of the first lockdown because he couldn't go see any other dogs. So he became quite anxious about it. He got, very, very over the top reaction when he saw other dogs. And now, since week one, we've learned so many different techniques to reduce Hugo's stress levels when out on a walk. I mean, how amazing is that? Our beagle is now a lot calmer when out on a walk and has begun checking in with us even when there's a trigger nearby. The learning theory behind his behaviour has opened our eyes to how he must have been feeling initially. I mean, that is beautiful. Just beautiful. But yes, and as Kate said in the comment about making a plan of what she's going to do if we encounter a trigger, it is really good. We have to be careful not to go too deep into what could possibly happen, because we could end up going down a rabbit hole and just talking ourselves out of everything. But yes, having a plan on possible eventualities, like, so if there's a blind corner, okay, before I get to that corner I'll cross the road. So although it might be slightly out of my way, I know I'm not going to get taken by surprise on that corner because I'll be able to see around it because I've crossed the road. Just little things like that will help you. What have we got here? Yeah. So I actually have done canicross running with my reactives. And to be honest, it helps a little bit because it gives them a bit of focus. So depending on your dog, I have to say though that they are way better at it than I am. I need to stop a lot. So yeah, online virtual training definitely has some amazing benefits. And if those of you that are watching, what other things do you think of when you think, okay, virtual training, I'm not going to be able to do this because XYZ? And just let me know what they might be. I get a lot of people who say, but you haven't seen the behaviour. I don't need to see the behaviour. I know what is happening. I've been doing this for long enough to know what is happening, what you're seeing, what you're experiencing. It's I would be worried. I just don't think that as a trainer, you know, we understand, we study the brain, we study what happens to the body. Working with reactivity isn't just about training, it's about understanding how a dog works and what's happening internally and what the consequences are. I don't need to see a behaviour to know what's going on with that dog. Occasionally we might say it might be more of a frustration, but there's other ways we can find that out. We don't need to put dogs in situations where we need to see what's happening. That is not what we need to do. And I would definitely be worrying if I or anybody else needed to do that. So yeah, just be trusting. Be trusting of it. It is better to get some training, even if you're still going, yeah, I'm still not sure that's going to work for me, I'm really not sure. It is far better to at least start training and start learning than it is to leave it until the point where we're kind of sat there going, I want to wait until I can see someone in person, because your dog is practicing that behaviour. That behaviour is working for your dog. Dogs do what works for them. And if barking at that other dog or barking at the people in the street means that dog and those people do not come closer, then it's working and they will keep doing it. And the more they keep doing it, the more of a practice behaviour it becomes. Their brain pathways become very strong in that behaviour. And as I mentioned earlier, we cannot change a behaviour whilst ever they are still doing that behaviour. So, yeah. Nothing's impossible, Shirley. I'm not having that. Nothing's impossible. Come on, if I can try it, anyone can. So yeah, I would definitely, and I understand the little blocks we have against online training. I remember way back to the first lockdown, because you know, way back, it feels like it, and I was quite resistant at first, not only to giving training but receiving online training. So my CPD courses, conferences, everything like that, they went online. I was like, oh, don't know about that. But wow, I absorbed so much more from them courses than I ever thought I would have, than I would have done. I am the type of person who, if I'm sat in a room full of people, my mind does go to other places. I can't help it. It starts thinking about, what am I going to have for tea? I wonder what my dogs are doing at home. And this way it was like, I know what my dogs are doing because they're sat next to me. Yes. So yeah, it is, definitely give it a try. You will be pleasantly surprised. I have been not completely mind blown by the results. I knew it would work well. I didn't realise it would work as well as it did. And you add into that the community that gets built for you, the support that you've got, people who understand, people who are going through the same thing as you. And that makes us feel massively better. Can you all hear my dog? She's getting a bit whiny. This is normally her snuggling up on the sofa time, you see. So yes, virtual training good for people, reactive dogs? Oh gosh, yes, definitely. Way better. Yes, because immediately when you're working with a person reactive dog, as soon as I turn up, your dog's triggered. Even if I meet you outside, your dog is triggered. Even if it's just men, it's still a change in the environment. So yes, 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 yes. And I actually made a decision that if I was doing a initial consultation with any people reactive dogs, I would always be online, because they're quite often there's a lot of work that needs to be done before we can start working on desensitizing that dog to people. So now it's all about the program, so that I know that every single person I work with knows or has all of that knowledge. They know all about what's going on with their dog, what techniques they can use, why we don't use certain things, why we don't use aversives or anything negative. So yeah, it's just fantastic, and it absolutely does work, because you are then getting the dog used to, and you are more confident in how you can practice your training. You can get it down to a fine art. You can do so with things like this, where we look at the cues, we look at the timing of the rewards, people video it, put it in the group, we feedback on it and say, okay, it could be something as little as you getting your treats out before you're asking your dog to do something, so they're not actually necessarily listening, because we do want them to listen as well. And you can perfect that and feel confident in yourself that you know how to do that, so that that's not one other thing you're worrying about when you see people. So Ziggs is people reactive, especially men with walking sticks. Doesn't like them, which is understandable, and that's fine. And I video my training that I do with Ziggy and Coco. I video it, and I video the cues that I'm working on, and I keep a training diary so that I know where we've left off and where we got to last time. And it helps me look at progress. And all of this is not affected by whether you're training with someone in person or virtually, because it's all things you do. The majority of training for your reactive dog, 99% of it is you. 1% of it is you being guided by somebody. So 99% of it is you. That's how awesome you are. Just think of that. That is how awesome you are. But yes, having a reactive dog can make you feel very lonely and very much like Billy No Mates. You're the person that's crossing the street to get away from people on a walk, rather than socially distancing and stopping for a chat. It is quite lonely. What's up? No. It is very, very lonely, but there are lots of us out there, and we are all here together to hold each other up, to keep each other going, to keep that confidence going. And basically, you can show up on a bad day, you can show up on a good day. It doesn't matter. Somebody will be lifted by your good day. Somebody will identify with your bad day. And it's showing up and being there for you, and you likewise will just feel so much better with your dog for it. But yeah, there's pretty much everything that you would do in person with a trainer can be done virtually, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how well your dog works with me, how well your dog does with training with me, it's going home with you. It needs to be able to do it with you. So yeah, I do, and you do start when I was working in person with dogs, you did get a lot of dogs who they'd turn up to training and we'd get started, and you know, the guardian would say, "Oh, I've been trying to do this all week and he's not done it." And it's because in that context, with me present, the dog's put together its own context of, okay, so in this context, I do this. And as we know, dogs are not necessarily very good at generalising. So Go on, take it. Good girl. Just giving her a chew to keep her quiet. Dogs are not very good at generalising, so if the dog has learnt in that context that it happens when you and I are together, it's not necessarily that they're going to know to do it when it's just you. Not all dogs are like that. No dogs are the same, and that's why you can't have a one-size-fits-all training plan. And that's why when you go in RDUK, they will for some things say, okay, it could be this, but we recommend you get in touch with an actual trainer to figure it out. And that is because no dogs are the same. It's not one size fits all at all. And that's why on the programme that I run, we have the one-to-one sessions as well as the group. So it's a fusion of one-to-one and group. So we've got that support from everybody, but also we tweak things just for your circumstances in our one-to-one session as well. And in them sessions we can address things like the in-household issues that you may be having, management in the home, because how our dogs are in the home has a huge impact in how they are out and about. So many of you may have seen mention about window film for reducing outside triggers. I love window film. So when we got Ziggs, he's a lot taller than Coco. He can see out of the front window very easily. He's also very sensitive to sound, so if he hears car doors shutting, he would, when we first got him, run to the window, and if he then saw something as well, that was it. He'd be barking. I had a few people in the street go, have you got a new dog? Because I'm sure Coco doesn't bark that loudly. Yes, we have. So we put some window film up. So it meant that, yes, he would hear the car door, go up to look at the window and go, what was that? But he couldn't really see anything, so he kind of went, oh, okay. And that enabled me to start be able to put cues on for calming and training other behaviours of what to do. And now it's only sounds he doesn't recognise, which, to be fair, when he started barking at 1 o'clock the other morning, I wasn't too upset about that because there was somebody around that shouldn't have been around. So, that's great. So yeah, it is about looking at all. And again, that's things that you can film in the house without setting your dog up to fail, because it's literally just behaviour in the house and the camera's running. I'm not saying, I want to see your dog doing this. I just want you to film your dog in the house so I can see what they're doing. In one of the recent courses, we just did that, and we could tell it straight away, just from the 30 seconds of film, that dog didn't really know how to relax because it spent all day looking to make sure there was nothing coming towards the house. So they put measures in place, and very slowly she's starting to just relax a little bit, and that's showing in other ways as well. We have dogs who are scared of the clicker, so we come up with other ways to do it. And because we work virtually, we have the option to brainstorm with everybody else that's there online at that time. So it is really a big camaraderie that we build up. Let me just... Right, okay, yes, so Shirley's just commented that at the moment there's a struggle due to having an elderly dog who does strange things at times which reactive dog cannot cope with. That is a difficult one, and thank you for looking after them both so well. And that is something where I would definitely be saying, yeah, let's have a look at the setup, let's have a look at what's going on, let's have a look at see what we can do to help them both. And it's literally a case of you wandering around your house with your camera so that we can see what's happening, basically for the layout, I don't care if it's tidy or messy or anything. I'm not looking at that. and I doubt the trainers would be as well if you contacted any of them. And just seeing what managements we can put in place, what safe spaces for both of them can be made available, and routines and things like that. So yeah, it's everything is possible. Everything. I'm a big believer that, you know, if we put our minds to it, we can really make things happen, regardless. So yeah, I do that. Right, I have got 10 minutes left. I knew I could talk. So let's have a look. Is there anything else happening? No, right, okay. So really quickly, just to kind of sum up, make sure I've covered everything. You still get personal interaction with virtual training, and it's personal interaction which, to be honest, probably goes deeper, because you as the owner can feel more relaxed because you're talking to someone on the screen, as opposed to feeling the pressure of someone stood in front of you. Us as trainers can be more focused, because at the end of the day, we love dogs. And if we're stood there next to you with your dog and your dog's looking at us going, hi, we are going to go, hello. Whereas here, our sole focus is on helping you, making sure that you're getting everything you can out of us, out of your time with us, out of understanding and implementing that in your dog. So I do have a lot of people who film themselves while they're out walking with their dog. Not when there's a reaction. It can be a nice quiet lane. And literally somebody sent me a video today from one of the new people on the programme, and it was literally a case of him showing where he walks his dog every day, which is beautiful. Ideal place, really nice, and him interacting with his dog, and his dog just giving off very slight signals, which I'm sure his owner won't mind me saying, maybe wouldn't have noticed had they not been on video. And possibly if I'd have been there, if I'd have been talking through something with the owner, I possibly wouldn't have seen it right at that moment in time, because I could have been looking at the owner instead and saying, okay, so now we want to do this, and I would have missed that too. So the video training, being able to watch it back, being able to pinpoint actual things that's happening and go, why do you think he's doing that? And it's not necessarily all about me telling you, it's about us brainstorming it and discussing it and getting to know your dog. And it was literally just a very little, very little, no, I don't want to do that, which blinking you'd miss it. But we've picked up on that, and we can put that in his training. And you know, I'm going to be going back once I've finished here into the group and looking at that. So yes, please do explore these avenues in helping your dog now rather than waiting. If you're not in RDUK, get over there. It is an amazing community. RDUK is about sharing, it's about support, it's about unity, and nobody in there is alone. It is a great alongside for your training, because as well, you know, there's people with similar experiences. They've got a great team of authorised trainers, including me, who are there to answer any queries you've got. Obviously, if you are working with a trainer, your trainer is there as well. Never be scared to go back to your trainer and say, I didn't quite understand what you meant. Now I've got home and thought about it. Do it. You know, that they will be very grateful for that. I know I am. Because one, it means that I know you've listened. And two, it means I know you're understanding. And that's fantastic. That's all we want. So I kind of go with the aim that, you know, you get to know enough about your dog and enough about what you're doing, so that at the end of the program you kind of say, yeah, I'm actually all right now for a bit. Can I come back to you further down the line when I'm ready? Yeah, that's fantastic. That is music to my ears. And then you've still got all the people in RDUK who've got your back, who are going to cheerlead you on, keep you going, and just genuinely be there for you. And, you know, I'll be there for you. We've got all the other trainers. So we've got Nick, Jeanette, Charlie, Sue, Janet, Morag, and I think that's everybody. And if it isn't, I'm really sorry. Off the top of my head. And, you know, we're all absolutely lovely. We're all fully vetted. And, yeah, we'll have a look. So I have got less than 5 minutes left. So if you have anything left to ask, now is the time to do it. Although, if you do put comments on later, I will keep checking in and see what we can do for you there. I have put the links to RDUK in the blurb for this live, so get over there. If you're a pro, there's a pro group. You know, there's the website. You can get a little hoodie, which is absolutely great because on the back it tells people to stay away, which I don't think you can see. So get yourself over there and get yourself a hoodie. You know, it's all part of campaigning for our dogs. We are our dog's voice. We are the only way that they can say to people, please stay away without me having to bark at you. So we are our dog's voice and we campaign for them, and I love it. So just one last check. No, that's it. I would like to thank every single one of you for being here and participating. It has been an absolute pleasure. If you've got any questions whatsoever, drop me a line and we will get you sorted. Oh, I have somebody else there. It's just not showing. The wonders of technology. I told you didn't have to be technologically savvy to be able to do this. I can do it. So yeah, but no, it's been absolutely great. Thank you so much for participating and for being here. And if you have any questions, please post them in the comments, get in touch with me, head over to RDUK. On behalf of RDUK, I would like to thank you for being here, and I would also like to thank them for inviting me to do the talk. So yeah, thank you very much and take care.